You know, sometimes your hair just wants to do what it wants to do, and you really don't have control over it like you thought you did. You realize that your hair is a sentient being that's pretty much just living rent-free in your life, except you're paying to keep it done, and it's defying you at every chance it gets. Okay, whew, we're back in it. I'm not gonna talk about my hair woes today. Today it's all bag time. Welcome to Flirting with Travel. I'm Lexi, 1/3 of the Flirting with Travel trio. And today we're talking about the best tips for how to select the perfect travel backpack. Next, we're talking about pockets. Zippers they're not a sexy thing to talk about, but they're so important for the integrity of your bag. Pockets are a little bit more fun to talk about. When I say pockets, I mean your external pockets, how you're getting into the bag for your quick items. This isn't how you're getting into the main compartment. So essentially, I'm just gonna go through what I need to have like handy and show you where the pockets work for that. I feel like I should do age before beauty, but I'm gonna do this one first. So looking at my Peak Design backpack, it's got a few really good external pockets that make this bag great. The first one, flip those up, is this tiny little one right here. And so this pocket, it's not particularly deep. In fact, that's how far it goes. And inside, it's got like a really soft fabric. So typically I'll throw like 2 pairs of sunglasses. That way, if I'm walking out of the airport, the sun is shining down super bright, I can just like swing my bag around, prop out some sunglasses, and I'm all set. It's well sized if you want to put like a passport in it, but here's my thing. I would only put items in a pocket right here that I'm not worried about getting stolen, because this is one of the few pockets, this tiny little one, that doesn't have any like theft protection. So I wouldn't get on a crowded train with my passport in it, because it's absolutely the farthest part from your body and the easiest for someone to open without you feeling it. So I'm gonna put some of my cheap sunglasses. If you have really expensive sunglasses, maybe this isn't the pocket for you. Maybe you just leave it empty. For an external pocket, looking for for a place for your passport, I love Peak Design's option. So you've got your water bottle pocket that's external, and it looks like it's kind of gusseted so that you can put a thick water bottle in it. But this little area that's kind of a gusset inside has a little zipper pull and a zipper. And so then you can put in something that sits inside of a 2-layered water bottle pocket. So this is normally where I'll store my passport, because once you have it zipped up and then you put in your zipper stay, it does not look like a pocket. Even if you put a water bottle in here, it still doesn't look like a pocket, and it doesn't even like show the shape. I thought for sure once I put in my rounded water bottle, you'd be able to see like the outline of the passport, but the fabric is a little bit stiff, so you don't. Now the other external pocket that this has is a giant pocket that runs the entire front of the bag. Now with that's where I start carrying the things that I need at the airport. So what that looks like in the Peak Design bag is that you have this pocket that goes down the entire front of the bag. I leave my travel stuff in my bag usually, and it's a big scarf. This is actually half of it. And so what I can do is I can use that as a scarf around me. I can put it down my entire body like a blanket. I've used it like a pillow. I take the same one on every trip. Sometimes I'll take a second scarf. It's like, that's my fashion scarf, but this is always in my bag. But what I like about the Peak Design bag is that it has 4 internal pockets inside of this. This pocket I don't use for quick access. I usually put my my makeup palettes in here. I always travel with like 2 eyeshadow palettes. And what I like about this pocket is that it's deep enough, it's wide enough to hold 2 palettes with me, but it's lifted from the bottom of the bag, so if you drop your bag, it's not going to shatter the pallets because it's cushioned. It's also sitting right on top of what would be my packing cubes on one side, so soft fabric, and then the scarf that I'm traveling with on the other side. So it's sandwiched in between fabric in the middle of the bag. I never have to get somewhere and worry about my eyeshadows being like just crushed, because that would be like my dreams being crushed. Down below there's another pocket, and in this one I usually keep my my medicine case. This is a little bag that I got when I flew on Cathay Pacific, and what I did is I just shoved like allergy pills, some antacids, Advil, whatnot, in case I get a headache. I never used to travel with medicine, but then we went to Cuba and things are not readily available there, and I got so sick. I don't know what it was. It was either that the water quality wasn't great, and I'm less inclined to believe that. I think it was just that it was spring water, and I hate the taste of spring water, so I stopped drinking water like 2 days in. Nevertheless, I just got so sick, and after that experience, I thought, travel with at least the minimum amount of medicine, because in most places you think, I can always buy something, but what if you can't? So medicine is the one thing that if you need it, you absolutely need it. Deodorant you can buy anywhere, that's fine, but medicine, just have a couple to get you through, because even if you do need to buy it, if you need it right then. You don't want to have to find a pharmacy. Next, talk about pockets, not medicine. Get on with it. Next, in this pocket, I don't have them in here, but it sits really flat. I will typically put my over-ear headphones, or I don't carry my headphone case with me. Instead, I just pack them flat, put them in here, and don't drop my bag on its front. And then lastly, this is my absolute favorite pocket, because the other three are all very flat. They don't have much dimension, but this one, you can see it. It actually has some dimension built in, and I use that to hold my electronics. I shouldn't call it my electronics, it's really like my cord holding pouch and my chargers. But I love it because I can pull this out and stuff this into my handbag right before a flight, and then I'm ready. I've got a charger for everything that I need. So I keep my external battery pack. So what if I need to charge it again because I've been sitting in the airport and I used up all the juice? That's never happened, but if it did happen, then I would be able to charge it because I have extra cables. Inside, I also keep my AirPods, and then I keep 2 different phone charging cords. I keep the cord that comes with your iPhone in case the USB is right in front of me. But let's say I'm sitting at a seat that has a broken USB port and I need to charge, and so I have to move a little bit farther. Whoop. Then, oh good gosh darn, then I've got my 10-foot cord. So this will be able, I'll reach across 6 seats if I have to. I'm getting my phone charged while I'm on a 12-hour flight because that battery is going to be dead otherwise. I'm not going to make you watch me put that back in because it's going to go poorly. And then I just have like all of my other cords. I think I got on one plane, all of the aircraft were like super old, and so they didn't have USB charging ports. I needed to actually plug in, and so that's when my brick comes in handy. I don't bring a small little wall brick. Instead, I use my, what is it, Galidora converter. What I love about this converter, and it's kind of hard to see, but it has 3 USB-A ports and then 1 USB-C port. So at the same time, if for some reason the plane or generally my hotel, if I just need to plug everything in, I can pretty much do my laptop on the USB-C, then my phone, my AirPods, and last but not least, maybe my gimbal or something else. But ultimately, I can charge everything in one thing, so this is the only wall charger that I bring, which means that I don't mind how bulky it is because it's holding everything, and it's good for Europe, US, Australia, and the UK. And Asia follows, I want to say, American plugs, so you don't have to worry too much. So I think the plug looks the same, but the voltage is different. Check it. Don't take my word for it. Although I'm gonna laugh if the voltage is the same as it is in the US, because I was there for 2.5 years and I always used one of these. Don't tell me if I'm wrong. I don't want to know that I was wrong for that long. No, tell me. Tell me, because I want to do better next time. I'm just gonna live with that shame and embarrassment if I am wrong. If I'm right, definitely please tell me, because I'm feeling real dumb right now. Okay, pockets. Pockets. What are you talking about? You're not even at pockets anymore. So that's where I put everything on the Peak Design bag, and it lets you know like what you might look for your pocket. I can't fit my toiletry in this really flat pocket, but one thing that Peak Design does really nicely is that they give you external access to the main cavity of the bag, so you can flip this down, and I've just got a pillow in here so it keeps shape, but below the pillow I've left my travel bag, or my toiletry bag, that I've also unzipped. Wow, we are really just aching for something to go wrong. But see how easily I pulled that out, and then I can just shove it right back in with no problem through the side access. But you absolutely need to have an easy way to get to your toiletry bag. So in the Aviator, this bag has a few external pockets. The first external pocket that you're gonna see is this bad boy right here. It's just a flat pocket that feeds into the front of your bag. I'm trying to think of what I put in here. Like back in the day, I would use like female sanitary napkins and put like a few, just line the front. And I mean, if someone robbed me then, if a pickpocket got my pads, joke's on you. The other pocket that it has, sorry, that took a weird turn, is a tiny little pocket at the top of your bag. And this, I think they say it's well sized for like your passport. Same idea as on the Peak Design. This is at the farthest part from your body. I don't feel comfortable leaving my passport in here. But this is where I would put in like sunglasses. Because again, you always need to be able to access your sunglasses very quickly. So within this space, I would always put in my toiletry case, because it was easier to get to from here than it was to unsnap all of these and then unzip. Then I would add in my scarf. I would normally fold it neater, but who cares? Actually, at the end of the trip, this is probably how things started going. Stuff that in there. I would also add my electronics case right up top. And you even, like, you can push it down and I'd still have room to put in my headphones, flap that closed. Now I've got everything that I need at quick access. And so then in the main compartment of the bag, all I put in were my packing cubes with my clothing, a pair of shoes, and that's it. So here's the deal. Pockets are a very personal thing. You've got to figure out what is important to you. Figure out what you need, what size pocket you need, and make sure that your bag has a way that you can get to everything that you need to get to quickly. Have I just taken you on a journey over zippers and pockets? Oh, some days it just goes like that. Some days you're just dealing with something that's really important and you gotta take the time. Okay, that's a little bit of tea. Number 7. Now we're getting into the bread and butter, the nuts and bolts. I don't know a third option for it. So now we're getting into cushion straps. You need something that's going to sit well on your shoulder. So one thing I like about the Peak Design backpack is that if you see these little rivets, they actually move the straps with you. It's one of my favorite things about this bag is how easily stowable the straps are. When you're wearing it, they move up and down, so depending on where it sits on your body, it's going to automatically position itself to sit nicely on your body. And then you can look at where the strap goes. It's not just going straight down. Instead, it comes out, curves in just a little bit, and then curves back out. You want a strap that offers that bit of curve so that as it comes over your shoulder, it naturally just pushes in and then pushes back out so it doesn't cut into you. Definitely make sure that anything you buy has a little natural curve sewn into it. The other thing is that you want something that's got some cushion. Now, it doesn't mean that it's just like a giant fluffy pillow on your shoulder, because it does need to be able to carry weight, obviously. So how does it sit at the top? Does it curve in with your body? Is it cushioned? The other thing that's super helpful, and Peak Design doesn't have, but it does sit pretty well, that I would recommend is load lifters. And so that's this little strap here. And I'm gonna take off the load lifters to try and show you. So now you're seeing the backpack curves with your body, but ultimately what it's doing is it's just sitting very rounded on your shoulders. So if this bag was packed out, the entire weight would be right here on like where my neck meets my shoulders. And that's gonna be incredibly uncomfortable, just sitting on your traps. But if you put on a load lifter, instead of the bag sitting down here, this little bit is going to hook it right to the top, and it's going to actually take on a lot of the weight that you're holding. And it doesn't really matter how easy it is to get your load lifters on, because once you put them on, don't take them off. And what's nice is that you can actually decide how much you need it to be lifted. And now, it's kind of hard to see it, but instead of the bag sinking down on your back, it holds it level. And so instead of it sitting on your shoulders, it's now sitting where it's pulling the weight on your front. So really what it's doing is it's taking you from hunched down like this because the weight is dragging you down, to instead pulling your front and pulling your shoulders back. Essentially, it's just faking good posture for you, but it's going to make things so much more comfortable. So you can see that little gap where there's a strap there. That's the load lifter holding it on my front rather than pulling it on my lap or on my traps. So if you ever have a bag and you can feel the weight toward the back of your shoulder, it's not a good bag. And once you pack it out, you're not going to be comfortable and you're not going to enjoy carrying that. In fact, halfway through, you're going to think, ooh, language. It almost happened. WTF did I buy, and why is it such a POS? Life hack, take less shit, and then you don't have to worry about checking that bag. The other portion that goes to having really comfortable straps that are stowable, but also hopefully have load lifters, is going to be our number 8, which are hip flaps. I cannot stress to you how important hip straps are. No matter how good your load lifters are, if you're putting weight on this part of your body, after a while, it's gonna feel really uncomfortable. It's just gonna feel like you're being dragged down into the depths of hell. Or something less dramatic, whatever. However you feel. I remember feeling like I was visiting Hades. And we don't need that. Jeez, and criminy. These are super sturdy snaps. They're really just called hip straps. I like calling them hip flaps. Each their own. Now, one thing I'm going to tell you, if you've got a bit of a gut, once you put that on and you cinch it in, you're gonna feel it on your gut. But now what it does is it's going to be distributing the weight. So because it's holding in on your hips, it's gonna hold all of that weight, but you can see the straps aren't touching my shoulders. The entire bag is now supported on my hips, which is such a comfortable way to go. And then to make it even better, you bring out a sternum strap. And I'm not gonna lie, when I'm walking through an airport with my hip flaps and my sternum strap going, I feel like a backpacker. But this is where a bag like the Peak Design really becomes helpful, because in a similar way that you can stow these very easily, pop out that, inside you can also stow your hip flaps, because walking around with these constantly out gets super annoying. They're just always like, just hitting stuff. It becomes, you lose the clean aesthetic that you bought. If you got this bag because you wanted to feel sleek, you don't want something flapping at your hips everywhere you go, hence why I call them hip flaps. You want something to stow if you're not wearing them. And then you've got your sternum strap, and I love how they do their sternum strap because you can pull it tight so that it's not flapping in the way that the Timbuktu one was. And so pop it off, and move it across. And then you've got a little bit of extra fabric, but they have something so that you can pull that onto the fabric so that nothing is hanging. What I love about this bag is that, unlike my hair, they're not about the dangly bits. They want everything to feel very clean when it's on you. We're down to the last 2 items. So the next thing, and this one is kind of weird because it goes against the whole #1 clean aesthetic, but external carrying capabilities. However, say you're going from cold weather to hot weather or hot weather to cold weather, at some point you're going to be wearing a jacket, you need to take off the jacket, and you don't want to eat into all of your interior space. So when that happens, you want the ability to be able to put something on your bag on the outside, namely a jacket. I know for some people they'll need to carry like a yoga mat. There's no external straps to carry things, but ultimately what I would do is, if I had a backpack, and this could actually work with a yoga mat, is that you just loosen these straps up a little bit. Oh, throw that down so I can get this done. Loosen up your straps, put this sideways, taking a jacket. This isn't like the biggest jacket, but it can be done with a puffer. I know because I've done it with a puffer jacket. And then snap it. And if for some reason it's a little bit loose, then you just tighten your straps. But voila, I actually really enjoy the ease of this. But in general, these straps can kind of be a little bit extra when you just need to get into your bag. So it just depends on how you travel. So for the Peak Design bag, right at the very front, there's like this little flap. They have little straps. And these straps attach to these little lash straps. So for these, and if I'm being honest, I have not actually used these before or even tested them out, so we're testing them together. So you basically just take it, go across by, oh, it's super simple. There's like, turn it this, there we go. Okay, it's super simple. There's a tiny little thing that you can just attach. And then, oh, nice. And like I said, they're not about their like flappy things, because here's the flap, but then they've got a piece of fabric that goes over and it just stops it from moving around. And then do that on both sides, and then tighten it up. And now you've got your jacket hanging on the front. Does this look very pretty? No. Does it take away from your clean aesthetic? 100%. But if you need to carry something, does it work? Yes. And sometimes you really have to take your function over your form. And what's great about this is that these straps are not just on the front. Depending on what you need to carry, there's 2 up here. There's 1 on the side right next to your handle, and there's 2 right down at the bottom of your bag. So there's lots of different places where if you need to strap something to your bag, you have a lot of different options. Finally, number 10. This has been a journey. It has been such a journey to get here. This is the most important thing to me, and I kind of feel like this should be the most important thing to everyone. Whew, ready for it? Number 10, the most important thing to look for when you're getting a travel backpack: clamshell opening. You have a top-loading backpack or a clamshell. Actually, to give you an idea of what a top-loading backpack is, it's basically the backpack that you carried when you were in school. It pops open, you unzip it, and you stuff everything in the top. Now, whereas this bag has just an external pocket that goes to about right here, imagine you had to put everything in this entire bag from the top. So the things at the very bottom, unless you're unpacking everything, you might decide it's not worth it and just never touch the stuff that's in here. Essentially, a clamshell opening is just like opening a suitcase, and it allows you to pack that way. So, ba-da-bum. Bring that over, had a pillow to keep shape, but now you can get to everything in there. Sorry, just like a random toothpaste and a wig cap. I don't even wear wigs. What is my life sometimes? What is it? But now you can get to everything in your bag super easy. So imagine I've got this packed out with multiple packing cubes. I've got my toiletry bag in here. I have shoes. No matter what I need to get to, if I open this, it's like working with a suitcase. I can reach in and figure out whatever I need. Clamshell is the best way to go. You can get to everything. You can see everything very quickly, very easily. That's probably the shortest topic that we've talked about because it's so straightforward. Don't top load. Just get something that will open up all the way so that you're packing like you would pack with a suitcase. It will make your life better. It will make your travel better. It will nourish your soul. Maybe not that far. I'm being dramatic. Calm it down. Take like 2 steps back. But it will improve your life and it will improve your travel. I'm leaving it there. Okay, folks, so those are the 10 tips for finding the absolute best travel backpack for you. If you found any information that was useful, please feel free to maybe like the video or even subscribe. I'm not gonna tell you what to do, but like if you wanted to, I would really appreciate it.